2020 will go down as being the second worst year of my life. The worst was the year I really leaned into the trend of showing my thong in low-rise jeans. I had a whale tail so profound, Jonah climbed inside me. Not the Bible Jonah, another one, you don't know him. But hey, we made it to December. It's officially the holiday season, which means I can decorate my Christmas tree with all of my favorite Toms. But as most of us are counting down to 2021 with gentle optimism, millions of people are facing a new year that may bring even more hardship.
Millions of Americans could soon be forced out of their homes. A federal eviction moratorium is set to expire at the end of the year. The protections were initially part of the CARES Act, which Congress passed back in March, but those expired at the end of July. The CDC stepped in after Congress failed to reach a new stimulus deal. Using its authority under the Public Health Service Act, the CDC put a new ban on evictions. Now that ban is set to expire on December 31st.
While the CDC measure saved many people from immediately being evicted from their homes, it didn't actually solve any problems. It's like putting a tiny Hello Kitty Band-Aid on a massive leak in your ceiling and hoping it's fixed. If the moratorium isn't extended and aid isn't implemented fast, people are at risk of being forced out of their homes at 10 times the historic rate of eviction. When the CDC ban expires on December 31st, nearly 19 million people could be at risk of losing their homes. While COVID-19 has exacerbated housing instability for renters, the eviction crisis in this country has been brewing for a long time.
In 2016, we saw 3.7 million eviction filings, which comes to about 7 eviction filings per minute.
7 per minute? That is awful. The only things that should happen 7 times per minute are Kegel exercises. I'm doing them right now. My pelvic floor is so strong I can sign my name hands-free in perfect cursive. The U.S. averages about 3.6 million eviction case filings per year, and many renters face losing their homes for owing less than $600. That is appalling. Even before COVID, more than 20 million households were already rental cost burdened, which means they were putting over 30% of their income toward rent. And when people have to spend that much on housing, it means there's less money for other essentials like food and utilities. People shouldn't have to decide whether they can pay rent or keep food on the table. In a perfect world, the only tough decision we'd make is whether to use the same razor on our faces that we use for our privates. The answer does matter, because all hair is pubes if you think about it. To make a difficult situation worse, due to chronic underfunding from the federal government, people who need assistance often don't get it.
About 45 million people in America are below the poverty line today. So only 1 in 4 low-income Americans that qualify for housing assistance receive anything from the federal government. 3 out of 4 receive absolutely no assistance and have to make ends meet in the private market unassisted.
And obviously, landlords are notoriously generous. My first landlord was so nice, in exchange for signing a 2-year lease, he threw in free toilet water. Meanwhile, affordable housing has massively decreased over the last decade as rent prices have increased and wages have remained stagnant. More than 20 million renters currently live in households where someone has suffered coronavirus-related job loss, forcing tenants to increasingly use credit cards to pay their rent, leading to more debt and food insecurity. It's a vicious cycle. Not to be confused with Vicious Circle, Dane Cook's album, which is almost as upsetting. With unemployment levels expected to remain high into 2021 and Congress still battling like MMA fighters over the next stimulus package, evictions will also make it harder for people to find and keep work. It's putting more strain on communities of color who were already struggling.
Black and brown communities, Latinx, and our Asian community. The people that need it the most, the ones that were affected by the COVID crisis the most, are also the ones that are facing evictions, that are facing issues with their rent.
Just once, couldn't American inequality specifically impact someone new, like strawberry blondes who own dressage horses? Them and the horse they danced in on. If you liked this video, hit subscribe and leave a pleasant comment below. Let's ride out the rest of this nightmare year together, okay? Okay? All right.